Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today it's Odin's Day, or Woden's Day, the 17th day of the month of 7. And it is waning crescent, if I am not mistaken. Waning crescent, 18%. You know, I think it's sometimes it's like slow and sometimes it's fast. Because I thought it was just waning crescent, but it's already a crescent. It's like 18%, which is pretty wild. So let's see what message wants to come through today. As usual, we're using the Elder Futhark on Birch. Let me just get these things down. This is a message for whenever you find this video. And of course, for whoever this message is for, if you're watching it and it doesn't resonate, you can assume that it isn't for you or it isn't for you right now. Law. So how are you in these rare times? I was hearing an astrologer last night talking about the next, from now, apparently the next several days until the eclipse are going to be pretty crazy. So hang on to your hats, so to speak. Alrighty. Or, whatever you have if you don't wear a hat. Hang on to your accoutrements. All right. Central issue for the message that wants to come through today, we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. Reversed, I'm going to read this a couple of ways in the central spot. First of all, you may be deeply incubating a beginning. There may be a beginning that is just starting to form in like a very seed level way. But also what may be happening right now is that you may have had to back burner a beginning. You may have had to, maybe you've started something, but you've had to stop and pause it and maybe backtrack a little, where you basically want to make sure that the steps that you've taken so far have been solid and good, well foundationed. Leading up to this, we have Laguz, which is the rune of the water. This is emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. So you have been flowing along quite a while with this. You've just been coursing along as though on a river. At the same time, this is something that is very much heart-led. You are very much letting your heart lead on this. Intuition, obviously, being a part of it. Emotion is definitely a key in terms of being a part of it. But I really see this as being a heart project. So maybe there's something that you've been developing and you've gotten to a point where a beginning is really just very like small, tiny beginning. Or maybe you have begun a thing and you were coursing along and you realized, wait a minute, I better backtrack on this. I better take some steps back and basically pause the beginning that you've got. Or even, no, I don't see this being, I don't want to see it being the end of a beginning or a beginning halted. I want to see this as a backburnered beginning that you've basically had to pause and go back on. However, the fact that it's flowing into this point, there may be a point where, there may be for some of you a situation where the thing that you have begun has basically stopped here. So either way, I'm going to continue to read and hopefully things will sort themselves out. And they do, because by the end of it, I'm going to spoil the ending. We have Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. So you are going to be able to see people that you can face with joy about this. You're going to find a sense of belonging with this. This may be other people who have gone through what you've gone through for some of you, where it's something that has, if it is something that you've had to abandon in some way, a beginning that you've been flowing into, and then you've had to abandon a beginning, where you'll get the support that you need in terms of just feeling that you belong, that sense of belonging with others. So I'm as you can tell, I'm sort of dancing around what I really, really, really don't want this to be. So, let's talk about what helps. So we have Ansuz and we have Sovilos. So Ansuz is the rune of communication and manifestation. This is basically communicate, create from this, basically talk about it manifest, more and more I'm seeing that it might be exactly that, the thing that I don't want it to be. So I'll talk about it in terms of something that you were naturally creating that has now stopped, that you weren't able to go forward with it. But for those of you that it isn't something, I'm so sorry, and I wish you all the support that you need for that. So let's speak of it in terms of a project, and either way, what will help you is communication. Have those connections, communicate about it. Maybe if you're feeling well enough about it to create about it. And what's going to help with that is to reconnect with source, whatever source is for you. So whatever it is that whenever you connect with it, connects you to source, your source energy, your whatever nourishes you, is Sovilo the sun. So the sun will connect you with, that's your connection, your source energy connection, and that will help you to express what you're going through, and to, maybe manifest something and to create something to help you with it, what has happened with that. What isn't going to help, there is a sense of lack of worth, and also a sense that how can you even move forward from this point. We have Fehu reversed, which is the rune of wealth and worth. It is reversed in the lower line. So it's questioning of a sense of value in the world, a sense of worth. You feel like you have lost some value you feel like you've lost some worth. This is not true, but it feels like that. It feels like it's something that is really dragging you down about that. And then underneath that, we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Stillness, stand still. You feel like everything has come to a halt. Everything is frozen, and there is a future. There is you can move forward from this. You can move forward from this beginning not happening, and you are not less of worth because of this. So basically, so Fehu reversed talking about the worries about worth, and Isa talking about feels like things have just stopped completely for you. But these are fears, these are worries. Bring yourself back up to here. If you feel like that sense of that you're not as worthy, bring yourself back up to Ansu's, where it's communication, manifestation, expression. Communicate to people, especially people that you trust and that you where you feel that sense of belonging, but communicate about it. Basically express and maybe create if you need to express that out, like to get that out of what you've got going on, like you just basically to express what you're dealing with, so it's not inside you stuck. If you feel like everything is ground to a halt, and this is why you feel less of worth, this is all the more reason to connect with your source energy. This is Sovilo the sun. This is it's your connection to source. And nicely, we have the sun and ice. So the sun will actually melt the ice. The sun will remind you, connecting with source will remind you that you can move forward from this, as difficult as it is. So this is a very, very difficult reading. What this will ultimately lead you to, as I spoiled earlier, is that you will have a better sense of connection with the people, with humanity, your place in humanity, not like your place, but in your part of humanity, and that you do have that sense of belonging with others who can look at you and match you in this moment. If this was a project, if this was something that you were working on, and it was a project of the heart, something that you were very much emotionally invested in, and something that you were very, very strongly connected to with the heart, it's still a problem. It's still something that is hurting you, and it is still something that is very, very painful and difficult to deal with, is this beginning that you now are having to abandon. Even if it's something you have to back burner, but I really see that as not what this is about based on the other runes here. If it is, then you're basically going to, if that is what it is, if it is in terms of, something you had to just back burner, you're just pausing it so you can redo it properly. You're still going to want to go back to a certain level of source, but more like the watery level of source, where you're going to have to, take some steps back to re-immerse into the deep, rich emotion, the deep, rich feeling, the deep, rich sense of being immersed in heart and letting heart lead you back out to go forward. It won't be the same, but it will be something new that you're doing, and it will still be, your heart-based creation of that. Expressing will still help with that. Connecting to source will still help with that. Feelings of lack of worth for not being able to go through with what you originally planned are still going to be something that drags you down, worrying about that worth. And feeling like you're stuck and you're never going to move forward again, that will also not help you in this moment. So however this is, express and connect to source will help you. And ultimately, however this is and whatever this is referring to, you ultimately, after this step, will find yourself very much connecting to humanity and being very aware of your part, the part that you are living in all the roles of humanity, and that you will have that sense of belonging as you connect with others who can face you with their own joy and who can match you for what you've gone through. So that is the message that wanted to come through today. I wish you all the best with this. I send my best comforting wishes to all of you for this. And I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.